code red. I just got tipped off that the health inspector's coming today. The guy's gonna be here in like 15 minutes. They're pulling a fast one on us. Okay, I got the place looking pretty good already because I was anticipating something like this, but do me a favor. Make sure no one is in the bar today, okay? I cannot have those guys in here making a mess. You got it? Oh, shit.
Welcome back to Kirill Smashes Acting. I'm Kirill, actor, educator, cat enthusiast. I hope each and every one of you has been staying safe and being smart. I know it's a tough time, but together we will get through it. Today we're going to start a two-part series on one of the hardest things to do when you're auditioning as an actor, and that is cold read. So what's a cold read? A cold read is when you walk into the audition room and that is when you are given your audition sides, aka your audition script. What makes cold reads so difficult is that you do not have time to prepare or memorize or even break down the script until you get there. So that's why it's so important to have a process that gets you ready for your cold reads. So here we go. The first tip is actually pretty quick and pretty simple. If the work isn't a new work, if it's something that's been published or exists, go out there and read it. The best thing you could do is to prepare yourself for the audition by knowing what material the script might come from. So if you can find it, go get it, go read it. You might be able to find it on Google, check a library, go to a drama bookstore. You never know where they might have it, especially if it's theatrical. Ask any friends who might have auditioned for it or maybe have heard of the project. I know it's corny, but hey, ask the person next to you in the audition if they're not too busy. Especially if it's a cold read for a two-person scene, see what information you can gather from the other people in the room. The next thing I want you to think about is that cold reads are a chance to let you work as close to a full process as possible, but also as fast as you possibly can. So to give yourself the ability to do the full process, get there early as you humanly can. Now, to be fair, this is if you know it's a cold read. There are times where you come in for an audition, you do a good job on your reading, but they like you for something else. So they'll give you a new script and say, hey, we'll call you back in 5 minutes. Can you read this for us? This is when your ability to go through your process is going to be put to the test. So if you get there early, that gives you plenty of time to go over the script, memorize as much as you can, and make some choices. Do your character background. Everything we talked about for long rehearsals still counts for cold reads. You just kind of have to do an abbreviated version of all of your steps. Now that you've gotten there early, read as many of the sides as you can get your hands on. Read all of the information on your sides. See if there's any moment before information or moment after, or maybe what was happening to the other characters before your scene started. Any clue that you can find is a way forward. If you can get your hands on several of the sides, maybe from different scenes or different characters, that will help you get a complete picture of what kind of story you're about to audition for and what that story is about. Again, more information, more power for you. This step is where people start taking shortcuts, but you won't because you know better. Break down the script. People go automatically into just reading it over and over and over and trying to memorize instead of going into the script and really breaking it down. First, decide what the scene is about. What is happening specifically to both characters, and what is the message of the scene? Every actor thinks they know what a scene is about the first time they read it, and that's why they move right on to the memorization. But take your time, read it a few times, and really try to figure out what the message of the scene is, and ask yourself, is your audition or your take on the character fulfilling the message of the scene? And it could be as simple as, this is the scene where I win her back. That works. If you are allowed to keep the sides, I also recommend highlighting your lines just to help your eyes find it if you do lose your spot. But to be honest, that's not always possible. But do carry one around in your pocket just in case. Here's the golden tip. Figure out what your character arc is. Even if you go into the room and you don't get the lines perfect and you don't get everything you want, if you come into the room and actually give your character an arc, that is going to show that you understand the scene and that you're able to live moment to moment. Even if not all of the moments were perfect, you were able to show them that you can tell the whole story. And that's huge. This might seem kind of out there, but if you can, take a pencil and beat out the scene. Put the beats in the units so your brain can break it down into chunks. Our brains are really bad at breaking down a whole script at once. But the smaller and more precise the chunks we have, the better our brain is at putting together the pieces of this puzzle that we call the scene. Once you've broken it down, decide a very active objective. Remember, the objective is about the other person. Whatever you do, make sure you have an objective walking into that room. Make sure it's active, make sure it's about the other person, and make sure you're going after something. Between understanding the story arc and honestly going after an active objective, you are going to set yourself apart from most of the actors walking in that day. And remember, whatever description the director or the casting call might give you of the character, that is exactly what they're looking for. So use that description as your base for when you're deciding the objective and the arc of the character. The next step is to make sure that you really understand all of the words you're saying and how to say them. So if you get up to any word that you're not sure what it means or how to pronounce it, a great way to get around it is have your phone and your headphones. If you're not good at reading IPA, International Phonetic Alphabet, to figure out how a word sounds, having a pair of headphones might save your entire audition. Once you're in the waiting room, if this is a two-person scene, quickly find a partner and start doing this breakdown with them. Get up on your feet. Don't just sit there. Get some energy into this piece. If you're just going to sit there and read, especially if it's a two-person scene, you're not giving your whole body the chance to get into the story. And it's going to just be you coming from your head. When you do start rehearsing or even auditioning in the cold read, start thinking about eye contact. Eye contact is huge. Everybody gets so concerned about getting the lines right that they're trying to act while searching for lines at the same time. But the reality is you don't need it. The director or the casting director knows that you've not had the script before. So it's okay if you need to look down to find a line and then come back up and act. But whenever you're acting, especially when you're trying to affect another character, look up. Do not look down at the script. That is huge. And if you do fumble your lines, don't get nervous, look down, but keep the character's energy and inner monologue going. So that way, when you are looking down, you're still acting. That'll help you keep the energy of the scene moving forward, and it'll help them see that you are able to act in the silences. If you've been watching my 101 videos, you know that inner monologue and reacting to what's going on around you is key to creating a full performance. The fact is, once you are in the room, there's going to be more silence than you're used to. And that's okay. As long as you don't let yourself get thrown out of the character or out of the scene because you're looking for the script or because your partner might be looking at the script, you just keep acting. I know I've said it before, but that's one of the biggest keys to succeeding in a cold read audition. The one good thing about all of the extra silence in cold reads is that it lets you, the actor, show the director or the casting director that your inner monologue is still really actively listening and working. And last tip for this video is look up. Always look up. The more that you can keep your eyes visible, the more information the casting director and the director get, and the better chance you have of getting that job. I hope you enjoyed that video. Check out part 2 coming in a few days. Hit the like button, subscribe, share this video with anybody who might find it useful or enjoyable, and I'll check you guys out later. Say goodbye, Lily Cat. Goodbye, Lily Cat.